checking Bob Wicks yesterday. He wants to give us an update of how is the village functioning, what's going on in this pandemic, what's normal, what's not normal, and what's our new normal. Right, Dick?
Right, exactly. The big thing we want people to know is that our village is still operating. A little different than what we normally have. Some of the offices, all of our offices are locked down. There's nobody can go in off the street. But other than the court, all the offices are manned, available by phone, still providing most of the services that we've provided during normal times. And that's what I want to emphasize a little bit today of what some of the people, there may be specific things that people are wondering about, and I hope I can hit most of those in our short time together. I do want to make a point. What you're doing, what you did with Mike Leffencheck and Bob Wicks, and then today, and I know you have some more lined up, is just terrific, because so many people are sitting home, just questions to be asked, not sure where to go for answers. You're really helping them. PAC B in general does that kind of stuff, but this little series has already been very informative, and I hope I can add to that today.
Well, thank you.
I'll start with Village Hall. There's somebody answering the Village Hall number all the time during normal hours. You still are accepting tax payments, water bill payments, that type of stuff. Can send them by check in the mail. We have a drop box right outside our front door, the main door coming in off the parking lot. And we also have, for people who are savvy, we have a credit card hookup on our website at baldwinsville.org, and you can go on there and pay your bill. I know that we do a lot of our bills online, and for people who do that, it saves them having to stop by Village Hall at all. So we do have that available.
Can I ask you a quick, Dick, is there an extra fee for that? Sometimes it's only $1 or $2, but just so people know.
A small fee charged by the company that sets it up, but I know
worth it.
At least one of our board members uses it and said it's not steep. It's just a couple bucks. So to kind of give people a heads up, I'm going to give phone numbers for all the departments. So if you have a pencil and a paper, you may want to take some of these down. The Village Hall number is 315-635-3521. Just general information. They can a lot of times direct you to where you need to go, and some of the times village clerk is who you need to talk to. Our codes office, nobody is generally going to be in the office, but the phone is being answered. Greg Humphreys is handling permit applications. He is doing some inspections of outside type stuff. If you've built a deck on the back and you want to get the inspection taken care of so you can use it without being concerned, he will come over. He's not going to go inside buildings right now, as most, the police are doing the same type of thing. He is patrolling the village. He rides around looking for potential problems. And his number is 315-635-2481.
Can I ask real quick on that? Is there, and it's because I don't know, is with the permits, is there typically a deadline so he would have to come look now, or is it something that could technically wait until?
Usually when you buy a permit, you have a certain amount of time that the project has to be done.
Okay.
We would be very lenient right now.
Okay.
I did not ask Greg that, but I'm guessing like everybody else, if your inspection was supposed to be today and you didn't get it till next week, I don't think anybody's going to get too excited about that.
Okay.
Our DPW is staffed very lightly. Our water department requires somebody to staff it every day. We have 3 people who are certified water people. We're trying to only have one work at a time so that if one of them gets infected, not all 3 of them would be infected. Right. So they're there every morning checking the water, chlorine, that type of stuff, making sure everything is safe and sanitary. Our water supply probably will be safer than any of the above ground type water supplies. We also are available if there's a question about water or sewer, call the DPW. The number is 315-635-9665. Brush pickup was scheduled to start April 6th. which is
Okay.
a big deal in the village. That's kind of iffy. We don't know the status because of what's going on. We'll be able to do that or not.
Okay.
One request, if you are taking advantage of some of the spare time you have to get your yards cleaned up, please do not put the brush in the road. I know some people do that. We've asked that not to happen because when it rains hard, leaves get swept into the storm drain and plug them up, and then you have floods at intersections and that type of stuff.
So that's anytime. That's not today. That's pretty much the whole season. Don't push it in the road.
That's always, yeah.
Okay.
But just sort of to emphasize it, since we haven't been doing any brush pickup, people sometimes forget. I know you had.
You know, I'm moving into the village. That was a personal question for me to ask you.
You had Chief Leffencheck on the other day, and just a reminder that the police department is fully staffed, including a dispatcher. If you have an issue, an emergency type issue, or you need to talk to an officer, you, as always, call 911. If it's an administrative issue, if you had an accident and you need a copy of the report, call 635-3131, and somebody will take care of working that out so you can get it. They probably will mail it to you.
Right.
Our court offices are closed. The unified court system has taken over all court activity until further notice, so there's nobody in the office. People will look for messages, but for the most part, check with the main court system. One of the big ones for us is Canton Woods, because our seniors a lot of times are, on their own and don't have as much mobility, access to things. And in this case, if a local relative is concerned about them being infected, then they wouldn't be able to go help the senior. So we are staffing the senior center with at least one person every day to answer phone calls. That would be normal business hours, 8 to 4. Now, the center itself, you can't get in. And people expressed that the ride service has been suspended for the time being. Meals on Wheels is operating. They're well over capacity. It looks by the numbers like they've almost doubled the number of meals they're delivering since this outbreak. If you have a problem with heat, getting food, you need a ride to a doctor, which more than just a regular checkup type thing, call the senior center. They'll get you through to somebody in the county who can help you. The county, United Way, there's other agencies that are available that would try to find you a ride and that type of thing. So Meals on Wheels, again, call them if you need meals. This is a great service and a great time to take advantage of it. They are doing where they knock on the door, Meals on Wheels, and then they leave the bag sitting on the step so that there is no contact. But they're also looking for help, and they are getting some in food drives, but they're looking for a lot of the non-perishable kind of stuff. Crackers, canned soup, fruit, Jell-O in cups, that type of stuff.
Yep.
So that they could take bags to people, and so that if something happens, they miss a couple days of delivery, at least they've got something on the shelf that they could get through for a couple days. Also, Food Sense at Canton Woods, which brings in boxes of food. People order it ahead of time, and it's kind of a cross section of menu items, and it's a pretty good deal for people. That's been suspended. So again, Meals on Wheels may be your out. For Meals on Wheels, the number's 315-638-2171. Donna Metz is waiting, willing, anxious to help. So call. The number at Canton Woods for regular questions, 315-638-4536. Again, they can find an answer if they don't have it. And Onondaga County has a couple of helplines, particularly seniors looking for food. If Meals on Wheels isn't what you're thinking, they have a number, 315-218-1987. Call them and they'll find a way to get you some help. And additionally, if you or anybody out there is struggling emotionally, this is a tough time. I mean, I have moments where I I can tell I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting a little scared, and it's tough to deal with things. I'm fortunate I have my wife who knocks me upside the head and straightens me out and
I
tells
can
me
see
how
that.
fortunate I am. Knock it off. But not everybody has that, particularly as you get older and your health issues are bad, and that's all you hear is, well, this isn't really a bad disease unless you're older.
Yeah.
It's like, well, guess what? What about if I'm older?
Yeah.
I'm nervous. So you can call 211, similar to 911, but it's a kind of a mental health talk to you kind of a service that talk you down off the ledge and give you some confidence, and maybe they can help to find something that you need that
Right.
nobody else has been able to help you with. I'd like to emphasize again, I know that we've been very fortunate. I'm not a huge Governor Cuomo fan. Anybody who watches me on Facebook knows that. But I think he's done a very good job of keeping us informed and for sticking up for our state and trying to get what we need for our people. And on top of that, our county executive, Ryan McMahon, has been, I think he's been an all-star during this thing. Every day his briefings are full of information. Gives you confidence. So people should look at trying to watch both what Governor Cuomo has to say and what Ryan McMahon probably is more appropriate for our people because he's talking about what's going on in Onondaga County.
Right. He's local.
And he brings it home. He repeats all the numbers, the 211 and the 1987 number and so on. And they have Dr. Gupta from the health group, and she talks about testing. So it gives you a feel for the fact that if I should have to get tested, they're kind of laying out, a direction on how to get it done. Call your doctor, call the health line, which is 315-464-3979. If you don't have a doctor and you feel the symptoms, the intense headache, fever, cough, those are the general symptoms. If you've been exposed, maybe somebody was at your house and then they called and said, by the way, I just found out I got it.
Yeah.
And you don't have a doctor, call that health number and they'll get you set up with a test. And it's getting better. The test was longer, was taking 3 to 5 days. They're talking about now maybe 24 hours and even less time maybe as they work with hospitals and so on. So one of the big things they talk about is social distancing. And, that's kind of between that and robust. I mean, we're doing robust testing and we're doing robust this, but the social distancing has become the catchphrase for this year. And I got an email the other day from a nurse who was very upset. And she didn't know me, but she thought I was the place to contact. But people in the neighborhood are having play dates for their kids. The parents are having wine tasting parties. And somebody had a trampoline party with 10, 12 kids. People are playing basketball 5-on-5. And as Governor Cuomo said the other day, I don't know how you can play 5-on-5 without coming within 6 feet of somebody on the court. People just got to step back and take a couple days and say, I can't do that stuff. Doesn't mean my wife and I walk. I mean, we walk around the neighborhood. We don't stop at anybody's house, and we try to get some exercise as often as we can. The parks are being kept open. Our parks, the county parks, for mental health reasons. People need to be able to go and maybe sit on a bench and watch the ducks swim by and the river flow, and it just kind of makes things seem normal for a little bit. So
it does. The other piece I want to add is I think, you said sometimes you get down. I know last Friday, Saturday was when I hit my wall. And then as soon as I just wrap my head around it, the social distancing piece of it, now we're having, I'm in a bunco group. Now we have virtual bunco. It's not the same, but we're still seeing each other. And mentally that helps us. People are Zooming with their families. We're just having to do it differently, right? So, and I think that's the piece that people are kind of struggling with. You can't do virtual basketball, but maybe the kids can find, something different to do and be out.
I know our grandkids, some of them play video games against people from other parts of the country. They ought to be able to play with their cousins locally. I mean, so, and last night we got a phone call from our youngest son who lives locally. he and his wife and 2 daughters FaceTimed with us for half hour or so. We, it was just nice to see them.
Right.
Brighten up our whole evening. I don't know if they sensed how much it impacted us, but
Right.
it made me feel very good.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know if they appreciated it as much as we did, but but I'm sure they did.
How you getting through? How's everything going?
Mhm.
And again, I can't forget to remind people to wash your hands. The back of my hands feel like sandpaper. I wash them. Seems like about every 8 minutes. Getting a little crazy about it, but it just seems like if I have to go outside, and I go out to get the mail with gloves on.
Yeah.
But even though I bring it in and I set it on the floor, we try to sort it out. Then I take the gloves off. I go wash my hands, even though I had gloves on. I just think it just makes me feel like I'm doing a little more to protect me, and particularly my wife, who has more health issues than I do. The big issue for me is not touching my face.
Right.
I'm one that watches TV and digs at the corner of my eye, and, tickles my ear, that kind of stuff while I'm watching TV. Well, I'm really working hard not to do that. Again, stay away from anybody that's sick. If you know that somebody's sick, if you need to take something, again, drop it at the door,
Right.
and let them come and get it. And if you're sick, stay away from people.
Yeah, I want to mention there's a lot of food pantries, food drop off places, like you said, and they are trying to say leave it outside the door, and then that volunteer goes and picks it up, and they sanitize a little bit and bring it in. So a couple people had concerns of, well, if people are bringing food, how do we know that they didn't sneeze in their hand, pick up the box of crackers, and then so the volunteers are doing the best they can to eliminate how much exposure, how many people have with those items are being donated, and being careful. Kind of like what you were talking about the mail. I think everyone's doing the best that they can to try and keep the social distancing and the amount of people that touch things to themselves.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Now it looks like the numbers now are starting to show younger people are becoming more infected than they were in the beginning. So the fact that in the beginning younger people felt we're pretty well vulnerable here. We've got a curtain around us, and that's changing, but it is clearly the older generation that is suffering the most. So try to look out for them a little bit. I mean, it's a scary time for all of us, but really for seniors. One of the things that we've done, we have a couple neighbors nearby who live by themselves, and we've called them to check on them. I think, again, people wouldn't realize the impact they might have by doing that. Just to know that somebody knows I'm alive. And we've told them, if you need anything, call us. We're not going to come in and sit down and visit with you, but we can talk to you on the phone, and I told one fellow that lives near us that weather breaks a little bit, I'll come over and sit on the steps of your deck, and you can sit at the slider, and we can talk from 30 feet away. Just to hear a human voice and see a face. So try to remember that if you're doing okay, it doesn't mean everybody is. And I would hope that people would think of that. I was pleased yesterday with what Bob Wicks had to say about knowing that the Baldwinsville community would come through. That this is a community that is always taking care of its people. And I've lived here for 50 years, over 50 years. My parents grew up here. My wife brought her 3 kids up in Baldwinsville. I mean, we're Beeville people, and we've seen it in the past when somebody's in need, Baldwinsville people are there. And it looks like this Baldwinsville helping Baldwinsville. I went on the other night and went down my list of friends and just kept hitting invite, and about 25 of them joined. So that hopefully now we got an even bigger nucleus of people to help and volunteer. I know the Rotary Club is doing something with the backpack program for the kids and meals. I know that there's food drives for Meals on Wheels. So err on the side of compassion. I know Ryan McMahon early on was saying that they were getting a lot of nasty phone calls. Messages were being left at the health department. And he said, that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't get you faster service, and all it does is make people that are trying to help you feel bad. And I would say that's a pretty good message. If you're going to talk to somebody, be civil. And sorry, I would say that in kind of maybe summing up what I've got is somebody said, what can I do? I would say act like everyone has the disease. So that if you see somebody in your driveway, neighbor, stay in the doorway. Don't think, well, because he's a good guy, he wouldn't have it.
Right.
Or he wouldn't come to my driveway if he had it. Well, he may not know he has it. So if you treat everybody like they have it, if somebody brings a bag to your house of groceries to help you, we've been doing things like we bring the bag in with gloves, and then we let the bag sit for 2 days, as long as it's not cold stuff.
Well, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Some suggestions, I guess, is put it in like a garbage bag, spray disinfectant, and then tie the bag off.
Not food, though.
Not food, but I mean, like if you get packages from Amazon, cardboard boxes, let it sink into the cardboard, but then you got to open it up, and the stuff inside you got to kind of clean down also. So treat everything like it's got germs on it, and volunteer if you're healthy. Find a way to get involved with one of these groups that, if you haven't felt sick and can do something for somebody else, do it. Call your friends and neighbors. And I would say most of all, stay positive. I mean, it looks like some of the countries that got started with this earlier are starting to see, a break in it. I posted something on Facebook last night. Somebody did 10 positives that have come up since this happened. And a couple of them were, there's a couple different kinds of tests that they're doing now that are looking very promising. There's a couple of, like a malaria drug that has had a little bit of success with people in Australia that might help people that are really sick. So hopefully, if the longer we can keep it from getting too bad, the better chance we have of something coming up. And so try to stay positive that way, and get a good time to get all your work done around your house. So when the nice weather comes, you're not tied up raking the leaves and trimming bushes and all that kind of stuff. And if anybody wants, you can call Village Hall. If you need to get me a message, if something you need to talk to me, they'll get a hold of me. I'll call you. I'm good about calling people back. All of our people are, and I will give you the numbers that I gave you today. A list of them as soon as we get done. I don't know if there's anything else that I can offer, except I really appreciate what you're doing. I think this is terrific.
Well, and I know you mentioned that before. Part of it is I had questions, so I thought, how do I get my answers? And then I thought, if I have questions, other people probably do. But I want to say thank you, because not only did you give us information about the village, but just, as the mayor, you are one of the leaders of the community, and just saying how it affected you and what you're doing, and suggestions, ideas, and where to go to get support. And I think that's huge for people to know those things, as well as how the village is functioning. So thank you for all of that information and for your time today. I appreciate it.
Then thanks for letting us know letting the people know that the village is operating. Their village is there for them if they need them. Okay,
perfect. Well, thanks again for your time. And like I said, you'll give me those numbers. I'll put them on this post, and then people will have them, if they don't want to listen, or it's easier just to see it on there. And some phones, you can click on it or call it directly to the people, which is nice. So,
great. Thanks, Shelley.
Sure. Bye.
Stay healthy.
You too. Bye.